Well, hello there, everybody. Got something that's really going to change up your twin flame situation. Something that's really going to help shut down the running and chasing with your twin flame for good. We're going to shut it down for good today, guys. The number one twin flame myth, which if you overcome this myth, you can actually get your twin flame to stop rejecting you. And it's going to sound strange when I tell you what the myth is, but just go with me. It'll all make sense to you by the time we're done today. So here's the myth. The biggest twin flame myth, the number one twin flame myth, is that the purpose of meeting your twin flame is for you to be with them. And again, if you can let that one go, then yeah, you could actually end the running and chasing with your twin flame for good. And that sounds very paradoxical, doesn't it? Because you might be sitting there thinking, well, Kurt, if I'm not doing anything about them, if I'm not making them the goal, then like, how is it ever going to happen, right? It sounds confusing, but it's absolutely true. And I'll tell you why. And by the way, before I tell you why, I just want to share with you that this teaching is actually the very first thing that I teach all of my twin flame coaching students when you sign up for my program. It is the first teaching in that program, or maybe the second one. I think it's the first or second. It's in the first video, right? The twin flame paradox. We're not going to be doing anything about your twin flame at all. And by not focusing on the person, do they come back? And you might be sitting there thinking, oh, okay, I get it. I got to take my focus off of them and focus on myself instead. Well, that's not quite it either. You're close, but that's not quite it. Yeah, you take your focus off of them. That part is true. But what you replace it with is not focusing on yourself, but instead remembering yourself as focus. And I'm not just playing around with words here. I'm not just playing around with the meaning of the words, semantics. That's not it. This is very, very important. You see, your twin flame is your soul. Everybody says it. Everybody on the internet says that your twin flame is your soul. Twin flames are the same soul, and that is actually absolutely true. And I've made lots of videos about that. If you'd like to go check it out, how it is true. How is that so? Like, my twin flame and I, we are the same soul. How does that work, right? Well, I got just the thing for you guys. I made a new playlist on my YouTube channel. It's called The Science of Twin Flames. It's not very long. I think it's like 4 or 5 videos. Go check it out. But back to this topic. Now, the purpose of meeting your twin flame is that they trigger your spiritual awakening. That's the true purpose. It's not so that you can be with them. When your twin flame stops rejecting you, when the running and chasing stops for good, that is a byproduct of the spiritual work that you're doing. You're not doing anything about the person, okay? It's the twin flame paradox. And like I said, this is the first thing that I teach my paid students. I'm pretty sure it is the very first teaching in the videos that I offer my video coaching. So what is my spiritual ascension? If the goal is my spiritual ascension, if I focus on my spiritual ascension instead of the physical person, what would that look like? Because again, I can't emphasize this enough, guys. If you focus on your ascension, they do come back around, your twin flame. So how do I do that? How do I do the ascension? It's not a doing. It's a being. It's the essence of what you are. If I was to ask you, who are you beyond the body and beyond the mind? What would you say? Well, you might say, I'm a soul. Touché. But what is that really? What is a soul? Because the thing is, if we're body, mind, soul, right? Body, mind, soul. When trying to discuss the soul or figure out what that is, know what that is, well, that's the whole thing, is people usually are trying to figure it out. That's the mind. The mind is what figures things out. That's thought. That's concept. And I'm not saying that that's bad. That's just what that is, right? That's the mind. So if we're going beyond concept and mental positions and emotion, right? So the mind is mental and emotional, and going beyond metaphysics also, right? That's also the mind. So chakras and metaphysical energy and these types of things. What is that? The simple, straightforward answer is that it's consciousness. So if you focus on yourself, I focus on me, that's a mental construct. That's concept. Because you have a subject-object relationship, which, by the way, any relating at all is what spiritual teachers have always called separation. And I'm talking about the big names like Eckhart Tolle and Ram Dass and Rupert Spira and Paramahansa Yogananda, right? Most of you guys in the twin flame niche, you believe that separation is like a relationship status with your twin flame or a stage that you got to go through, and union too, right? And then detaching, there's another word that you hear thrown around. What's up with that? What is that, right? Well, I made a video just about that. I'll link it down below for you. It's called Twin Flames, Separation Consciousness, Unity Consciousness, and Detaching. When you understand the true spiritual meaning of those words, that's the true twin flame teaching. You're taking transcendental teachings and superimposing it over your twin flame experience. That's the true twin flame teaching. And everybody on the internet, see, I don't know who figured that out. Somebody already figured that out, right? Long time ago, 1960s, 1970s, right? And then the internet came along and everybody, took those teachings, and now everybody kind of messes them all around, and the internet kind of messed it all around and messed it all up, and everybody just kind of forgot, what the original meaning of those words was, right? And how they apply to twin flames. But those are states of consciousness. It has nothing to do with a relationship status to your twin flame at all. It's about what's going on in here, guys. That's the true twin flame teachings. The internet just does what the internet always does. It took the original teaching and started playing a game of telephone with it, right? And now nobody remembers what the original teachings were. But that's what I'm trying to say, guys, is separation is the mental state of otherness. So if there's another, if there's me and another, then you can have a relation. If there's other, if there's something separate from me out there, right? Separation. But union is unity consciousness, which is the soul, and you're transcending the separation of mind. And again, you don't have to take it from me, guys. I got Ram Dass to back me up. Rupert Spira, Eckhart Tolle, Yogananda, Buddha, right? These are the original teachings of separation and unity, which is where the word union came from, right? So you're not focusing on myself. That's a subject-object relationship. That's separation. You are experiencing yourself as one with all, which is union, unity consciousness, oneness. And of course, your other self, your twin flame, that's your other self. They are you in another body. Again, go watch my Twin Flame Science playlist. Now, I'm going to give you some homework to do here. I want to give you some resources. I don't just want to leave you hanging, because you might be going, well, how do I do that? Right. It's not a doing. It's a being, guys. Experiencing yourself as one with your twin flame, right? So read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I always have everybody do that. That's the best place for you to start. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Read that book and watch the Samadhi movie. It's on YouTube. It's free. It's only an hour long. You can watch it right now. I'll even link it down below for you. Samadhi, the illusion of Maya, the illusion of separateness, the illusion of mind. What you really are, the soul, is consciousness, and you experience that as a being, not a doing. That's the truth of you guys. You already are your twin flame. There's nothing that you have to do. There's no becoming in this. You already are that. You just kind of forgot, right? The illusion of separateness, the mind believes itself to be separate from everything, right? And so the mind looks at the person and it says, that's got to be the goal. And there's all this weird twin flame mythology on the internet, not the least of which includes the improper context and use of the words separation and union, right? And also detaching, where they say, oh, it's about the other person. It's a relationship status with the other person, or it's a stage that I'm getting through to get to the goal of being with my person. So there's an outcome. That's separation. I'm here. I got to get there to the goal. Separation, duality, externalization. That's all mental construct or an emotional construct. If I get the other person, I will feel better. And what I'm telling you is you have to go above and beyond all of that, you guys. The soul is beyond all of that stuff. It's beyond any mental construct of separation or outcome or any of those things. That's the soul, guys. Your twin flame is your soul. You got to do soul stuff. And if you look around online at the twin flame community online, most of the people are nice enough people. There's a couple of bad apples, we know. But most people are actually good people in the twin flame niche, but misguided. And there is quite a bit more toxicity in the twin flame niche than any other spiritual niche, but not from everybody. It's just quite a bit higher than in any other spiritual niche. It's noticeably higher, the amount of like projecting and desperation and toxicity, for understandable reasons. Most people, everybody, when they start out on this journey, you're in a desperate way, and so it's easy to get sucked into that. And I'm gonna make a video about that next week, because again, it's not everybody, but it's a lot higher than it should be. But again, most people in the twin flame community are good people, and they just want to help you. But guys, they're just confused, and they're confusing you. They believe that they are their mind. Everybody on earth believes that they are their mind, right? You believe that you are that which is thinking and feeling emotions and trying to understand me here. That's not you. That's the ego mind. You are not that. The name of the first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, is called You Are Not Your Mind. That's the whole problem. And the mind isn't bad. It has a purpose. That's just not who you are, guys. You are not that. You are not the thinker. You are consciousness. You are being. You are beyond all that. So, taking your focus off the physical twin flame person, yes. And not focusing on yourself, not living my best life, not a bunch of doing, not a bunch of actions, but rather being, experiencing yourself as consciousness, as that which is just simply existing. I am. I am the focus. The mind uses that focus to focus externally on other things. When you focus on yourself, that's psychology. And that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's just not what this is, guys. You don't need to do any of that stuff to get the running and chasing to stop with your twin flame. You just are consciousness. You already are that. The illusion of Maya, right? That's what the Samadhi movie is all about. Again, go watch that movie. It's only an hour. It'll change your whole perspective on this whole twin flame journey, guys. But the illusion is that you are that you are this mental body that we call a personality. Guys, that's just the history of who you have been in this body since you were born here on Earth. It's a mental construct. And again, we're not saying that's bad. That's just not who you really are beyond form, right? The true self, the soul, is this divine essence of being. It is stillness and oneness with all that is, and your twin flame. And you don't need to access that. You're not trying to become that. You are remembering that you already are that. You are experiencing the true nature of what you really are beyond the body and beyond the mind. That's the twin flame journey. And that has got nothing to do with the other person. But funny thing, when you approach it in this way instead, that's when the person does want to start talking to you suddenly. Very interesting. Indeed. Well, guys, I hope I've brought you some clarity today. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.